Hello there. I am live. Welcome, one and all. Happy Thursday. I am Dean the Turkey Legster. Welcome to Once Upon a Turkey Leg. Looking forward to reading a couple of fun stories, of great fun stories this evening. Hello, Mandy. Evening. Here a little earlier. Princess Paula, hello. Oh, not well. Well, hopefully you will feel better listening to the stories tonight. So as usual, I am going to wait a couple minutes for people to possibly pop in. So in a few minutes, I will start the stories. But I want to kind of recap my day yesterday. I had the pleasure of going to the Magic Kingdom yesterday. It was a fun day. Got to meet up with some friends and had a great time yesterday. I did get my turkey leg. I have one picture I put up on Instagram yesterday, and I'm going to be I have a few more I'm going to be putting up maybe after the stream, maybe tomorrow or over the weekend. So anyway, while I was there, I did not grab one of the things that I got, but I got something that I've been wanting to get for a little while. I saw that it came out and I wanted to get it, so I got it yesterday. I was worried they would be sold out, but they had plenty of this. The brand new 2023 Walt Disney World calendar. And it has pictures from around the Disney theme park. You can see the Slinky Dog there is February. It's a little bigger, so it's a little easier to see. You can see the monorail there, the Toy Story Land sign, and some other things. Hey Tina, hello, and hello to Chuck, and so Paula, I see your what you're saying. Definitely, if you need to get urgent care before tomorrow, please do so, as Mandy's saying. But in the meantime, hopefully I can, lift your spirits with some Disney stories. So anyway, yeah, I got this at Magic Kingdom and in the Emporium, and I tried out. I was going to get in line, to pay for this at the regular checkout place, and then there was a cast member suggested that I try out the new mobile checkout feature. So I did, and it's actually a pretty painless process. All you do is you bring up the Walt Disney World Experience app. There's a place in there to do shop in store, I think is what it's called. And then you scan the item with your QR code thingy, the barcode there, and then you check out. It will give you a it'll give you a code at the end once you pay for it, and then you still have, check in or check out with the cast member by the door, and they will give you a bag. But it's pretty. It seems like it's a lot quicker, especially for someone who only had one item like me. So anyway, if you're ever in Disney World and you're only getting like one, maybe two things, and there's kind of a line, look to see if they have the mobile checkout option. I don't think all the stores have them. I think the main stores in the parks do. But that's a Disney World tip that I have for you. So anyway, with that, let me go ahead and start. I've had this book for a while, and I want to go ahead and read it. This is one of my favorite Disney movies. It is one of the more underrated, and this is a cute story based on the original film. It's called Walt Disney's The Fox and the Hound. So I'm going to go ahead and start. When I ordered this, I didn't realize it, but it is a board book. So this is, I couldn't find any other The Fox and the Hound, books. This is the only one. So this is, yeah. All right, so here we go. Walt Disney's The Fox and the Hound. Todd the Fox lived on a farm. His friend Copper, the hound pup, lived down the road. They did everything together. They swam in the pond and chased chickens out of the barn. They had fun with all the animals on the farm. Every day, Todd was sad to see Copper go home. One day, Todd and Copper thought it would be fun to play in the forest. Big Mama, the owl, told them to stay on the farm, but they ran off anyway. Want a good place for hide and seek, cried Todd. Want to play, Copper? Copper started counting while Todd looked for a place to hide. Todd ran past trees and rocks and swam across a stream. He hid in a tree stump. Before Todd knew it, he was fast asleep. Copper looked all over for Todd, but he couldn't find him. He sniffed at some dry leaves under a beech tree. He sniffed around a fallen log, and a porcupine rattled its quill at him. At last Copper picked up Todd's scent and followed it across the stream. But Copper still couldn't find his friend. When Todd woke up, it was dark. He was afraid to be alone in the forest at night. Oh. Suddenly, he heard something move behind him. Uh-oh. It was Copper. I'm so glad I found you, Copper said. I was frightened all by myself in the dark. Todd and Copper didn't know how to find their way out of the forest. Thankfully, Big Mama came to save the day. I'll lead you home, Big Mama said. Once they made it back to the farm, Todd and Copper promised to always look out for each other. When Copper went home, Todd was happy. He knew Copper would always come back. And that is the end of Walt Disney's The Fox and the Hound. And that is our first story tonight. For our second story, and give me one moment. I will be reading for you about our very first Disney princess. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, there lived a lovely princess named Snow White. Her wicked stepmother, the queen, dreaded that someday Snow White would be more beautiful than she was. Every day the queen asked her mirror, her magic mirror, "Who is the fattest one of all?" And every day the mirror replied, "You are." But one day the mirror gave a different answer. "Snow White," it said. The queen was enraged. She ordered the royal huntsman to take Snow White into the woods and kill her. Oops. I just bumped the computer. Okay. With Snow White dead, the queen would be the most beautiful woman in the kingdom again. But the huntsman couldn't bring himself to harm Snow White. When they got to the forest, he told the princess how much the queen hated her. "Run away," he told her. "Hide." Snow White turned and ran away as quickly as she could. But the woods were scary. Branches seemed to reach for her, and roots tripped her. She felt as if eyes were staring at her from the darkness. Snow White screamed. Then she fell and buried her head in fear. In the morning, Snow White lifted her head. She saw eyes watching her. But this time, they were the friendly eyes of bunnies, deer, chipmunks, birds, and raccoons. Snow White was glad she wasn't alone anymore. "Please don't run away," she said. "I won't hurt you." Snow White knew she could never return to the castle. What would she do? Where would she go? "Maybe the animals can help me," she thought. "I need a place to sleep at night," she said. The animals looked at each other. The birds took her cape in their beaks and guided her forward. Soon they came to a clearing in the woods. Beneath the trees stood a charming little cottage. "It's like a dollhouse," Snow White cried. She peeked in the window. No one was home. The animals nodded at her, seeming to say it was all right for her to go inside. And hi, Amy, welcome in. Snow White pushed the door open. Inside the cottage, dishes were piled high in the sink, and clothes were tossed about. The floor hadn't been swept in ages. Snow White counted the tiny chairs at the table and decided 7 children must live in the cottage. "7 untidy children," she said with a shake of her head. Snow White grabbed a broom. "We'll clean the house and surprise them," she said to the animals. Then maybe they'll let me stay." She started to sweep, singing all the while. The raccoons washed clothes, the deer dusted, the chipmunks tidied, and in no time The room was spotless. After the cleaning was done, Snow White became curious about the rest of the cottage. "Let's see what's up the stairs," she said. She lit a candle and climbed up the steps. At the top was a door. Snow White went into a room with 7 little beds. Each bed had a name carved on it: Dog, Happy, Sneezy, Dopey. Snow White said with a laugh, "What funny names for children." She read on: Grumpy, Bashful, and Sleepy. By then, Snow White was feeling awfully sleepy herself. She lay down across 3 of the small beds. The birds covered her with a blanket, and minutes later, the princess was fast asleep. Oh, let me show you this picture. That's when she goes upstairs. After the cleaning was done, Snow White became curious about the rest of the cottage. "Let's see what's up the stairs." Oh, wait, sorry. She fell asleep. Before long, the owners of the cottage returned. They were not children at all. They were dwarfs. When they opened the door, they couldn't believe their eyes. "The whole house is clean," Doc exclaimed. Nervously, the dwarfs tiptoed upstairs. An intruder was in their house. They went in, and Doc slowly pulled away the blanket that had been covering Snow White. "Why, it's a girl," he cried. "All females are poison," Grumpy insisted. As Snow White began to wake up, the nervous dwarfs hid. They peeked at her over the footboards. The princess yawned and sat up. Startled, she caught sight of the dwarfs' faces. "Oh, you're little men," she cried. Now don't tell me who you are. Let me guess." One by one, she matched the names on the beds to the dwarfs. She got all of them right on the first try. Snow White told the dwarfs how she had run through the woods and how the queen wanted to kill her. "She won't find me here," the princess promised. "I'll wash and keep house and cook." The dwarfs imagined the apple dumplings and gooseberry pies that Snow White could make. "She stays," they agreed. That night, after a delicious dinner, the dwarfs and Snow White yodeled and sang. Then she danced with her new friends. The dwarfs had never had so much fun or laughed so hard. When they stopped singing and dancing, Sleepy turned to Snow White. "Tell us a story," he said. Snow White told them about a princess who had fallen in love with a prince she'd met at a wishing well. "Was it you?" they asked, and she nodded, sighing dreamily. Her dearest wish was to see him again some day. The dwarfs let Snow White sleep in their beds. In the morning, as the dwarfs got ready to go to work, they worried about leaving Snow White alone. "I'll be all right," Snow White said. Then she kissed each of the dwarfs goodbye. I'm warning you, don't let nobody or nothing in the house, Grumpy ordered. That afternoon, forgetting Grumpy's warning, Snow White allowed a poor old woman into the house. The woman gave her an apple, perfectly red and shiny. Go on, have a bite, she urged. But the apple was not an ordinary apple, and the old woman was not an ordinary old woman. She was the evil queen in disguise, and the fruit had been poisoned. Snow White's animal friends tried to warn her not to trust the woman, but she didn't understand. She reached out, raised the apple to her lips, and took a bite. Oh, I feel strange, she cried, and fell to the floor. When the dwarfs returned to the house, they found their friend and thought she was dead. They had no way of knowing that the spell the queen had used was for a sleeping death, or that love's first kiss could wake up Snow White. The dwarfs built her a beautiful coffin and set it in the woods, where all her animal friends could come visit her. One day, a prince came by, the same prince that Snow White had met by the wishing well. He gazed at the girl in the glass coffin and knew her as the princess he loved. The prince lifted the glass lid, bent down, and kissed her. Slowly she awakened. The prince lifted her in his arms. Around them, the dwarfs and animals danced and hugged and jumped for joy. Their friend was alive again, and her true love had found her. Goodbye, Snow White said, and kissed each of the dwarfs. She was leaving to marry the prince, but she knew she would visit her good friends again soon. And that is the end of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oops. And that is all the stories for tonight. I hope you join me next Thursday for more fun stories. I will just some housekeeping notes. Next Tuesday, I will not be live for the Big Gobble on Tuesday night. I will be taking 1 week off of that stream. However, I will be here on Thursday for this stream for Once Upon a Turkey Leg. Also, tomorrow morning, Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I have a video going public. It is a recording of the Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade recorded in the Magic Kingdom in Frontierland. that I took yesterday when I was at the Magic Kingdom. So that will be going live tomorrow, going public tomorrow at 10. And with that, thank you everyone for coming in, everyone watching live. Tina, Princess Paula Bell, Amy, AJC Magic, and Mandy Adams was here at the beginning. So anyone watching live, thank you so much. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much. Also, make sure to bop the like button for me and leave me a comment. Let me know that you watched today or tonight, whenever you're watching. And with that, I hope that you have a gobble-tastic night. So take care and remember to always follow the happy.